These are all the tomato experiments I'm running at this moment. Currently, I have 3 varieties. Tiny Tim, these 2. Ignore the mini bell pepper in the middle. Chocolate cherry. These are also chocolate cherry. Even I think including these cuttings. And this is Sweetie. So all 3 of them. And then over here, all the seedlings. Chocolate cherry, Sweetie, and then Tiny Tim. Ideally, if you want to grow tomatoes indoor, if you have the spare income, you could get the growing tent in there. You can control the humidity, temperature, and the lighting. So you could produce the perfect tomato you want. But I have limited resources, so all I have here is a hydroponic kit with individual boxes and also additional tools. This is the OG. I started with the Sweetie. I was not aware this is the dwarf tomato. So it was growing so tall. I started in another hydroponic kit and then moved on to the mason jar. It was almost a meter. To the point, it was draining the water on daily basis, and also it was too tall, too thin. It wouldn't support itself, and because I'm growing out of the mason jar, I cannot support it with any trellis. Or at least I haven't figured out a way to do it. I pruned the tomato all the way down to the stem here. All the branches are cut off, all rooted. But once I placed them in the backyard, we had a couple days of severe weather. It died at the end. So all these ones, I keep the stem short to see if I can manage to keep the plants short. But I don't think I'm reaching to that point. Yeah. On the other hand, I found that micro dwarf is ideal. So the Tiny Tim is growing really well. I'm even considering cutting off a couple branches here and transfer them into liter containers. Because they're relatively small, so I think the liter container, if I want to grow it in soil, I think it might work in the liter container. So I have the standard hydroponic setup for these ones. I have the ones that cut off the stems, both in the hydroponic container and also in the mason jar and in the liter boxes. And over here, I'll eventually move the seedlings to another 1 gallon bucket. So over there, I'll compare how it's growing in soil. Originally, I would not have the access to the backyard, but now I do. I can have a little patch of the garden, so I could grow a couple of things. But then ideally, I want to figure out how to grow tomatoes indoor, so I can have a consistent way to harvest tomato all year long. Alright, stay tuned or come back. If you also want to figure out a way to grow tomatoes with limited resources, thank you for watching.